You're listening to Evolving Moons podcast
with Jess and Katie. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Evolving Moons.
Hi.
Jess and Katie here. Per usual, coming at you with some hard-hitting shit.
Yeah, there's a lot going on right now.
Yeah. Today's episode isn't very, light or uplifting. However, I feel like it's necessary.
Yeah.
It's important. We want to talk about the fires that are going on right now in California. Both of us obviously live in California. We've mentioned this. We're very close to the Santa Cruz Mountains.
And the San Jose fire.
And the San Jose
Yeah,
fire. We're kind of right in the middle
of two super large fires right now.
The San Jose one is the third largest fire in California history.
Oh, shit.
And the second largest fire is currently burning in Napa as well. So there's over 600 fires going on in California right now, wildfires, that were caused by 10,000 lightning strikes that we had over a certain weekend. Yeah.
Besides the world ending, you know.
Yeah.
The world's ending all over the place, and then also the world is ending in California.
Yeah. My cousin lives in New Orleans, and they're about to get hit with 2 hurricanes at the same time. So we really are just going through it right now as a country.
Really nice.
Yeah, it's the best. Anywho.
Yeah, so today we're kind of focusing on, all these things are going on, and you think to yourself, I'm just one single person. You know, what the fuck am I going to do about 600 fires, 10,000 lightning bolts?
Also, you see, like, friends and family and, like, you know people that are affected by this, and it just makes you feel very helpless. Like, what am I supposed to do? I want to help, but I can't. I'm not a firefighter. I'm not going to go out and, like, spray my hose on the fires. But we want to talk about things that you can do, things that you can do if you are directly affected by the fires, ways you can donate, things that can help you stay, like, mentally sane during times of natural disaster, but especially right now. And yeah, all that good stuff.
Yeah. But first I tried to do a reading. And I actually did 2 readings. One was super personal, so I'm just like fucking sick. That just happens sometimes when your energy is just all over the place. Sometimes you pull a card that you need, not that you want. But the first card that I picked had to do a little bit more with what I was asking.
Yeah.
It focused on the idea of sisterhood and divine feminism, which is really nice. And it says, we are all sisters and reflect the divine in one another. There are 3 girls on the card sitting with their backs to us, but
Super
it's a cute card. And the message was really nice, It focused on, in times of need, we can help the women around us, like, uplift them.
Yeah.
And kind of focus on bettering ourselves and the people around us. So
we
nice.
liked that one because it's, like, pretty personal for us. We do that when we're stressed or when we're having a difficult time. You and I rely on each other, but also we rely on, like, the other strong women in our lives.
Yeah.
So that is a really personal card for us. So hopefully you can interpret that card as maybe just, like, your group of friends or your really close families. It doesn't have to be necessarily a sisterhood.
Well, yeah, for both of us, we have very few girlfriends.
Yeah.
I have a lot of guy friends, and that's cool, and I like those friendships, but there is a sacredness almost to having close girlfriends that need to also be cherished.
Oh,
yeah. Really nice.
I agree. So that card kind of goes along with what we're talking about. We want to kind of talk about, I guess we'll talk about the fires first.
In what way?
Let's talk about things that you can do if you're affected for the fires first. So, luckily we're not, we're not totally directly affected by the fires. We're getting super bad air where we live. I have gotten a couple of, like, pre-evacuation warnings, like, hey, you might have to evacuate, but we have not been evacuated yet.
You're 5 miles away from
the line.
Yeah, the most current evac line.
Our air quality is super unhealthy here. It's at like 163 right now, I think.
It looks like Silent Hill outside.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's kind of sad.
Last night the visibility was like 1.5 miles.
Dang.
Yeah, you couldn't.
Crazy.
If you were driving on 17 last night, you couldn't even see the mountain over to Santa Cruz. It was that bad. Yeah,
that's crazy.
The peaks of these mountains are right here, like right by my house.
When I'm driving, you can't even see the mountains when you're on the freeway.
Yeah. So, And then you have a cabin in
Yeah,
Carmel, which is another
there's
group of
another
fires
fire. There's like 2, 3 fires. I think it's two that are.
in that
It's like
area. Yeah.
separated, and in the Carmel Valley, and our family cabin that was built in the 1930s may or may not be there right now. The last thing we got was a video from a guy who lives up there, who's in part of the fire people, whatever. For some reason, he stayed up there even though everyone else was evacuated because he was a firefighter. But he sent us a video, and it was like our neighbor's cabin, and the fire's like right at their front door,
Yeah.
and there's firefighters like trying to spray it down.
So sad.
But yeah, but it's also kind of awesome to see like the people working.
Yeah, yeah.
That's thank you to all the firefighters.
Yes,
I
we're
mean,
so appreciative. They're severely understaffed right now, and they're working like crazy overtime hours. I heard some are working 48 or 72 hours straight without a break, which is insane. Normally they just do 24-hour shifts. So that sucks, and we are so sorry about that. Also, yeah, we're just really fucking appreciative of everybody that's helping. So some things that we have a couple like website resources which we will tag on our YouTube video, so hopefully you tune in and watch this. But one of them is readyforwildfire.org, and they help you create a preparedness plan. So it's like things that you need to pack. They help you print out like maps of how to evacuate. I think that they have like all of your documents and stuff. Like they help you gather like what documents you need or make copies of important documents.
Yeah. It's always important to have like a box of things like that already.
Yeah.
Like if something were to happen at my house, I have a box that's like right there. I just grab, and it has all of my stuff in it. That's important to me.
That's a super great thing to do to like just be prepared in general for any type of natural disaster. Like to have a copy of your birth certificate, your passport, like your house deeds, any property that you own, any like specific papers that you need is for you as a person.
I have like right now my bachelor's degree is in there.
Yeah.
I just put,
No,
I got it in the mail, and I was like sick, and I just put it in the box.
Here it goes.
It's still in the envelope.
Okay, another one is airnow.gov, and that will give you air quality updates for your area, which is really important, especially for elderly people. If you have any elderly family or really young kids in your family, they should not be outside if the air quality is like above 110, I think. Like anywhere between like 98 and like 100 and something is unhealthy for sensitive groups, and then anything after like 130, I believe, is just unhealthy, like plain unhealthy.
Yeah, the air quality is just...
It's terrible.
And I feel like I just feel so both sad and grateful for the people who are like outside working.
Yeah. No, I'm torn.
Despite everything, it's like, oh, we sit here and we're like, oh, like make sure you stay inside. Like air quality is bad, but then like not everyone can stay inside.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Is like I feel like during this time it's super sad, but you also have to be so grateful and like very empathetic towards these people that are out there. Like although it's unfortunate that we're affected by the fires in a way, we are so fortunate to be able to have a home and stay inside of our homes, you know, and not breathe that shitty air in, and not have to fight these fires, and not have to yet be evacuated or be like fighting for our lives, you know. So we're very grateful for that. And then the last little bit of website info is lattimes.com/wildfires-map. And that gives you an up-to-date map of all the California wildfires and their evacuation little bits. Also, Cal Fire has a Twitter. I've been checking it regularly. They have now different Twitters for each fire going on in California that's a major fire. So that's really cool. Like for the Santa Cruz one, it's Cal Fire like CZU. And then the other one is CSU, like our two on the other side of us. And they have specific accounts for that are giving super up-to-date information on evacuation zones and just like the fire in general. Yeah. So great resources there. Yeah. So like we were saying, we're super appreciative and grateful for everybody fighting these fires. And we're very sorry and super empathetic to those who have been directly affected. And we wanted to share some ways that you can help, that we can help. So obviously donations, like there's a ton of GoFundMes that are going on right now that we'll post. One of them is just a general GoFundMe for all of the California wildfires. And then they also have ones for specific fires. And something that they've been doing that's really cool is that they have one for specific families.
Oh, yeah.
Which I love. So we'll post...
I believe there's a link somewhere where it has a whole bunch of like families listed that
Yeah,
someone
yeah.
compiled.
I think I have that
Oh,
here.
okay.
But
We'll
yes,
see.
we will post all these links for you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Another one is you can lend your space to those in need. So, like a lot of people, especially in the Santa Cruz fires, need places for their animals.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you do have a yard, or even if you have like trucks, like transportation for animals, or yeah, just like a lot of space. Also, your home. I mean, maybe that's not the best right now during COVID to like allow strangers to come into your home, but if you
Yeah,
feel
if you know
comfortable,
someone
or
or
if you have like again a lot of space outside, they can set up tents or like a motorhome, like let them stay in your motorhome, or you can always offer like your spaces. So that's
yeah,
another
that's a good one.
great way. Volunteer your time where you can. Like obviously going out and fighting the fires for yourself is not a good
That's
idea.
not an option.
So don't do that. But you can volunteer at shelters or at the evacuation centers. Sometimes I don't know if they're
Mm-hmm.
taking volunteers right now, again because of COVID, but
I saw
normally,
I saw that there was one
yeah,
in
I think
Santa Cruz that was taking volunteers. I saw this one where you there's a facility that's taking like farm animals,
oh
and
yeah,
you can go volunteer there and help with
that's
the farm
awesome.
animals. So maybe that one. That
Yeah.
one's cute. I liked that one. I might do that.
Cal Fire on their Twitter has also been posting like if people do need volunteers or if they're asking for help in certain areas, they're posting the links to that. So stay up to date with the Cal Fire Twitter. And then donate supplies to firefighters. You can always bring like waters to fire stations. A lot of people do baked goods. Again, because of COVID, they may or may not be appreciative of that. But you can do like packaged foods, just anything that helps out. I've also seen a lot of really cute, just like online. Like the UC Santa Cruz students had to evacuate,
Mm-hmm.
but they put like a big banner that said "Thank you, firefighters" on their UC Santa Cruz sign in the front.
That's
And
cute.
Cal Fire saw it when they got there. So that's like, I mean, don't go to a fire zone to do that. However,
Yeah, as they were leaving,
yeah,
they put the
they put
sign
that
out,
there.
I'm
Also, a
guessing.
lot of people have just been posting at their Twitter or at their Instagrams. So
Mm-hmm.
that's cute too, just to show that you're appreciative, and every little thing makes people feel important. So
Yeah, these are all cute.
yeah.
I like them.
Yeah. This is our thank you to the firefighters. So
Yeah,
hopefully there's a
yeah.
firefighter watching this.
It's just, it's the little things,
It is.
not everyone can go out and donate hours of their time. People still work
Or money. I mean, not everybody
yeah,
has
and
money
you
to
might not
donate.
have money, but it could just be like sending a thank you
Mhm.
is enough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just any acknowledgement of their
if you aren't
actions.
able to help in all these other ways, there's other ways, and even just I feel like this is out there, but just taking a time to like feel gratitude for them
Yeah.
too.
Yes.
Sending good energies out there in the world can also be a great way of helping.
That's Katie's way of helping.
I send my gratitude out.
Okay, so our point of this episode was
Mhm.
to help anybody listening that isn't directly affected or is directly affected,
Mhm.
but to stay calm and stay peaceful in times that you're feeling helpless. Because I
Mhm.
feel like that's the word that came to my mind when I thought of a natural disaster, or like that's how I've been feeling recently. Is like what I can't do anything. I'm sad. I'm depressed by this. I'm just constantly checking the info to like see if we're okay, if my friends are okay, like. And so yeah, that feeling, you just see like structures burning down every night. You get reports of people that have passed. You get all these animals, like pictures of animals that are displaced or that have
Mhm.
perished in the fires as well. And then it's just like you're so sad.
Yeah.
That helpless feeling just overwhelms you.
Mhm.
So I think yeah, it's really important to talk about.
It's also hard when you're not being like directly affected
Right,
to
right.
feel like almost complacent
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So it's like how do you like change like from being complacent or helpless to having empathy?
Yeah. So yes, I love that. We do always want to make sure that we are feeling empathetic. We want to understand how others are feeling. We want to put ourselves in their position, especially when we aren't being directly affected. We need to be acting like that.
Mhm.
We need to feel empathy. Um, so a couple of things that I just was writing down that I felt like when I made this list, I was just like, well, these are things that I should be doing right now that I'm not doing. That I'm just letting myself be consumed with this negative feeling.
Mhm.
Um, Preparation. So since we're in an area that is like could be affected by the fires, it made me feel very good. Last night I had a big conversation with my mom and my sister and my dad and my boyfriend, and we just kind of discussed if we were to get evacuated, what we would take with us. We talked about how we would take our animals and put them at my boyfriend's house because his house wouldn't be affected by the fires. We talked about like grabbing all of our photo albums. My mom showed me where like our safe keys and how to open the safe is and how to take everything out of it, what she would want me to grab. Other important things.
Is your safe fireproof?
It is, but I feel like we would just want to. We don't have copies of those documents, so it's like we would just want to take them if we could.
Okay.
But it is fireproof.
If you had more time.
Yeah, if I had more time. Also, she said like a couple of other things, like she wanted her wedding dress. She has her wedding dress preserved. And so she showed me where that was. So just taking the time to make a plan, I guess, just gave me a lot of comfort and relief. At least I wouldn't be scrambling, you know.
Yeah, kind of eases the anxiety, like the build up.
Yeah. So that is one that I think that everybody can do, is talk with whoever you live with. Think about those things. Make a list, you know, if you're a list person.
You know, even if you're not going, you may or may not be affected by a natural disaster that's happening currently right now.
Yeah.
It's always good to have a plan already set in place with your family.
Especially if you live like California. We have earthquakes, we have wildfires.
Yeah, like
you know,
what
the
to
Midwest
do in a disaster.
has all the freaking tornadoes.
Yeah.
The South has hurricanes. Like just, in any, whatever your area of disaster is.
Yeah, it's always good to have a plan and be prepared.
Totally.
You never know.
Yeah, you really don't. I mean,
Better
it's
to be
nature.
Like than not prepared.
Totally.
You can quote me on that.
Another one that I wrote is be appreciative for your ability to help. So for me, you know, I'm sitting there and I'm watching all this on the news and I'm just like, oh my God, everything's burning. I'm so upset. But then it's like, I need to take a step back from that and realize that, you know, my house is not the house burning and I should be beyond grateful for that. And I do have the ability to help others right now. You know, I did make a donation because I felt like I could afford that right now. We just talked about going and volunteering our time with the animals. We would love to do that. So take time to be like, I can do something, and I'm so grateful that I even can, you know, that I'm not the one that is evacuated and I'm sitting in an evacuation center and I really can't do anything because
I've also seen people who have been evacuated, but they're lucky enough to have somewhere to stay.
Totally.
And they're still volunteering their time.
Yeah.
Because it directly affects them
and their community.
And I'm sure and their community. So I'm sure like it gives them comfort in being able to give back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even still.
My next point kind of goes along with that, is focus on what you can change rather than what you cannot change. So we cannot stop the fires from happening. We cannot stop the spread of them, like you and I as individual people.
Yeah.
However, things that we can do, is provide support for people, provide donations if we can, of monetary value or of food and water and mental support, you know. So changing that mindset of just like, I'm very sad and I can't do anything, these fires are going to burn regardless of what I do, is not the right mindset to have in a time of natural disaster of any type, not just a fire, you know. Just focus on what you can change. And even if that change is just how you're thinking about it, it's still a change and it's still worthy of putting effort into it. Another one is talk to friends and family, and not let like just stress build up inside you. So this kind of goes back to the card, you know, it's like relying on that sisterhood or that bond that you have with others.
Just the overall theme.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be like sisterhood only.
Right. I am definitely a person that can like bottle stuff when I'm really stressed. I keep it inside kind of. Like not only am I introverted, but I also don't like sharing that I'm anxious. So at times like this, that's really bad, you know, because like you don't want to just have all that pile up and then you have an explosion and you actually need to be doing something during that explosion and you can't because you're just been bottling everything. So I think sharing how you're feeling is super important.
Yeah. Also, going back, you could also like write it out.
Yeah.
If you feel like.
Yeah, I mean, times like this, like I know that a lot of people probably feel like they need to be doing the most, but you really do still need to focus on yourself and that you're okay and that you're prepared.
Yeah.
And self-care during times of like unrest or natural disaster is really important too.
You don't have to like be going like super active, going out there, volunteering, donating, and like doing like putting all this energy into something when you don't have the energy to give.
Right.
You know, like if it's really affecting you that much, it's also a good time to kind of step back and look inward.
Right.
Wow, that kind of has to do with the second card that I pulled. How funny is that?
But also like, I think that we should address that people people are different, you know, and so a lot of people get strength and power and energy from helping others. And if you're one of those people, do it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But a lot of people cannot. Yeah, like you said,
Mhm.
they don't have that energy to give. And so if you try to give that
You're gonna
when you
burn
don't even
yourself
have it,
out.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's no help, honestly, because it's going to make you in a way worse off position, and you're probably not providing the best help that you could. So, let's see. Oh, these last two are like we've been talking about it the whole time, but reaching out to loved ones that may be affected and staying informed. So, reaching out to family and friends that have possibly been affected is great, because I know it sounds like a no-brainer, you know, but a lot of people are just like, oh my God, my family might be affected. Like Josh and I have a friend that lives in San Diego right now, but his family's house is in the Los Gatos Hills. So it's like for him, you know, he can reach out and he can just be like, hey, do you guys want to come stay with me? Or like, are you good? Instead of just worrying like, oh my God, my family might be affected. So simple, but something to take like some pressure off of your mind, or like keep your mind more at ease. And then staying informed. But I think something important to mention about staying informed is that you can be like over informed. Like if you're watching the news too much or you're checking it too much, it becomes like a weird obsession and it's just all you're focusing on. And that's also not good for like your mental health. You know, like when you're just watching the news and it's all bad right now, you know? So it's like you need to take some breaks from the news, turn it off for a moment, like be informed of the evacuation zones and have notifications on in case you need them, but to just watch it constantly, to look at pictures constantly, to talk about it constantly is also not good for you mentally. You need to be able to let some positive in, even though it's a bad time. You know, I feel like when you focus on only bad, there's no good to be had. You know.
Yeah, you have to focus on staying positive. Also, that's part of the self-care part, I think.
It's super hard to just watch people die and watch things burn down or get destroyed and constantly, you know, like you also have to be like, okay, well, my life is still happening. What are some things I can do? Like you and I are making this podcast right now, you know?
Yeah.
I've been focused on the fires a lot, but now we're making this podcast, and although we're talking about the fires,
it's a great outlet for you.
yeah, I feel like it's doing me some good. All right. Well, I feel like that's our episode. We've talked a lot now, mostly.
Yeah.
I've just been rambling. But
well, no, you had a lot of resources and points and notes in there, and you got them out.
Yeah. This has helped me. So.
No, but we hope that everyone is staying safe and healthy during this time, especially if you are near the fires.
Yes.
And thank you again to all the firefighters and to everyone who's helping out during this time. And if you have the opportunity to volunteer your time or resources, anything is greatly appreciated by everyone involved, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we will be posting the 3 websites that we mentioned earlier in the episode. And I cannot recommend CAL FIRE's Twitter enough. Like they're so up to date. Every like 15 minutes or so they have an update. So
that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
I'm not super big on the Twitter.
I only have a Twitter for like this type of stuff. Like
I don't even have the app downloaded on my phone, but I do have a Twitter account.
I just recently made a Twitter.
Oh, okay.
But I don't use it for anything other than like sports and like worldly updates.
I don't really understand it. But I've never been a huge like status person.
Yeah, okay,
you know?
yeah.
Like I don't, what the fuck am I going to write? I have nothing to say to you guys.
I downloaded Twitter during like the beginning of the like whole renewed Black Lives Matter movement, because there was so much information there that wasn't being publicized. And there was people's videos, and I just felt like it was such a more accurate news source than just like watching the news on it.
Yeah.
And that's
versus like watching people talk about what they put on Twitter, actually seeing the Twitter post.
Yeah, and like seeing each individual person's Twitter post, you know, like sometimes what the news puts on Twitter is, or what the news shows that's on Twitter is just little bits of it, you know. So you can look up a hashtag and everything's there. It's just all unfiltered right there for you, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, get a Twitter. I don't know.
And if you don't have a Twitter, get a Twitter.
Yeah, but anywho, we hope that you have enjoyed this episode and that we've helped a little bit.
Yeah, we hope. Our main goal is to hope that you enjoyed it and that we were helpful a little bit.
A little bit. I don't know. We always want to help, but I don't know. I don't know how much we really do help. I mean, we're not
We hope that the 30 people listening to this episode are greatly affected and go out and volunteer.
Anywho, we love you.
Yeah, I love you guys. Thanks for listening.
Especially the firefighters. We love you the most.
Yeah, we hope that firefighters are watching this.
We love you.
Okay. Bye.
Is it focused on you? Evolving Moons. Merch.
Coming to you.
Coming to a store near you online. COVID friendly.